Tony Parker sending dirty messages back and forth with his ex-teammate's wife.
Malone also harassed Vanessa Bryant, the widow of the late Kobe Bryant, many times.
Y'all, the NBA. When you think about it, you think about the glory, right? The championships, the buzzer beaters, the legacy. But let me tell you something. Behind all that glitz and glamour, there's a whole other game being played. And it ain't always pretty. See, the drama in the NBA, it don't just stay on the court. Sometimes it spills over into the locker rooms, into people's homes, into their marriages. And when that happens, whew, things get messy. Real messy. We've seen it time and time again. Feuds that destroy friendships. Scandals that rip apart families. And some of the wildest stories, they involve NBA players who straight up hated their teammates' wives. I'm talking about deep, personal, calculated hatred. The kind that leads to revenge. The kind that ruins careers. The kind that makes you question everything you thought you knew about loyalty. I mean, think about it. Tony Parker and the whole Brent Barry situation?
Tony Parker sending dirty messages back and forth with his ex-teammate's wife.
That was wild. Or Karl Malone. Man, what he did to Vanessa Bryant. That still don't sit right with people to this day.
Malone also harassed Vanessa Bryant, the widow of the late Kobe Bryant, many times.
So today, we're diving deep into 6 of the most explosive, jaw-dropping stories of NBA players who couldn't stand their teammates' wives. And trust me, some of these stories, they're gonna leave you speechless. Let's get into it. Alright, so let's start with one of the messiest, most calculated scandals in NBA history. Tony Parker, Brent Barry, and the woman who ended up caught in the middle, Erin Barry. Now, if you don't know Tony Parker, let me paint the picture for you. This man was a star. 4-time NBA champion with the San Antonio Spurs, one of the best point guards of his generation. And off the court, he was living the dream. Married to Eva Longoria. Yeah, that Eva Longoria from Desperate Housewives. They were the ultimate power couple. Everybody loved them. And then there was Brent Barry, solid player, great teammate. He played with Parker on the Spurs from 2004 to 2008. Brent wasn't flashy, but he was reliable. A family man, the kind of guy who'd been with his high school sweetheart, Erin, for years. Now here's the thing. Tony and Eva, Brent and Erin, they were close, like real close. They hung out together, double dates, family dinners. Brent and Erin even attended Tony and Eva's wedding back in 2007. Everything seemed perfect, but that's where things took a dark turn. See, behind the scenes, Tony Parker started to despise Erin Barry, and I'm not talking about a little bit of annoyance. Nah, this was deep, personal hatred. Parker thought Erin was manipulative. He saw her as this opportunistic person who was always trying to climb the social ladder within the Spurs circle. And the worst part? He believed she was interfering in his marriage. Feeding Eva misleading information, planting seeds of doubt, stirring up drama where there didn't need to be any. Now, whether that was true or not, we don't know. But in Tony's mind, Erin Barry was the enemy, and he was gonna do something about it. What he did next? It's one of the coldest, most ruthless moves I've ever heard of in the NBA. Late 2010. Both marriages, Tony and Eva, Brent and Erin, started falling apart at the same time. And when I say at the same time, I mean at the same time. Eva Longoria discovered something on Tony's phone. Text messages. Flirtatious, explicit, straight-up incriminating text messages between Tony Parker and Erin Barry. Yeah, you heard that right. Tony Parker was texting his teammate's wife. And it wasn't innocent. It was bad. Now here's where it gets even crazier. Some people close to the situation said Tony didn't even really want Erin like that. Nah, this wasn't about attraction. This was about revenge. Tony Parker allegedly orchestrated this entire affair just to destroy Erin's life. To ruin her marriage, to expose her, to make sure she lost everything, and it worked. Everything. Eva Longoria filed for divorce on November 17th, 2010. Brent Barry had already filed on October 29th. His divorce was finalized on January 5th, 2011. Both marriages? Gone. Destroyed. Just like that. Now, Erin Barry denied the affair publicly. She said it was all a misunderstanding, that the texts were taken out of context, but the damage was done. Nobody believed her, and Tony Parker? Man, he almost got traded. Coach Greg Popovich, one of the greatest coaches in NBA history, was furious. He couldn't believe one of his star players would do something like this. The Spurs organization was in shambles. The locker room was tense. Everything was falling apart. But Tony didn't get traded. He stayed with the Spurs, and you know what? In 2014, he won another championship, his 4th ring. And word is, Tony Parker looked at that ring and thought to himself, yeah, it was worth it. Cold-blooded man. Absolutely cold-blooded. Alright, y'all, this next one? This one's heavy, because what Karl Malone did to Vanessa Bryant wasn't just disrespectful. It was disgusting. Let me set the scene. The Los Angeles Lakers put together a super team. Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, Gary Payton, and Karl Malone. They brought in these legends for one reason and one reason only: to win a championship. One last run at glory. Karl Malone was 40 years old at the time. End of his career, one of the greatest power forwards to ever play the game. But he'd never won a ring, so he joined the Lakers, hoping this would finally be his moment. And then there was Vanessa Bryant, Kobe's wife. Young, beautiful, glamorous. She was living the life, right? Married to one of the best players in the league. But Karl Malone? Man, he couldn't stand her. See, Karl Malone developed this disturbing obsession with Vanessa. And I'm not even talking about attraction in a normal way. This was twisted. He despised what she represented. Her youth, her wealth, the new culture of NBA wives who were out here living their own lives, being famous in their own right. And the worst part? His resentment came from a dark place. Jealousy, racism, and straight-up sexual frustration. Yeah, it's uncomfortable to even talk about. But that's what it was. November 23, 2004, Lakers game. Vanessa Bryant called Karl Malone's wife, Kay, to invite Karl's son to come sit courtside with the family. Sweet gesture, right? Just trying to be kind. But when Karl Malone got on the phone with Vanessa, "Y'all," what he said to her, "It's one of the most disrespectful, out-of-pocket things I've ever heard." He told her, "Why don't you come sit next to me and give me a hug?" Then he asked, "Do you like me? Can you keep a secret?" Vanessa, trying to shut it down, told him he was old enough to be her father. And you know what Karl Malone said? "Oh, like your daddy." Yeah, he went there. He disrespected her father, tried to make it sexual, made her feel uncomfortable and violated. But it gets worse. Later, when someone asked Karl Malone what he was hunting, because he was known for hunting, he said, and I quote, "I'm hunting for little Mexican girls." That's what he said, out loud, about Kobe Bryant's wife. When Kobe found out, man, he was livid. Felt betrayed, disrespected. This was supposed to be his teammate, his brother on the court, and Karl Malone had crossed the line in the worst way possible. Their friendship ended that day, permanently, no going back. Karl Malone retired in February 2005, and a lot of people believe this feud played a part in him walking away from the game. He knew he couldn't come back to that locker room, couldn't face Kobe, couldn't fix what he'd broken. And to this day, Kobe and Karl Malone never reconciled. Not even before Kobe passed away in 2020. That's how deep the hatred ran. Alright, so this next story, it's one of those situations where you hear it and you're just like, nah, that can't be real. But it is. And it's messy. Jason Richardson joined the Phoenix Suns in 2008, played alongside Steve Nash, two-time MVP, one of the greatest point guards of all time. Nash was married to a woman named Alejandra Amarilla. They'd gotten married back in 2005, and by the time Richardson joined the team, they had twin daughters. Everything seemed good, but behind the scenes, Jason Richardson couldn't stand Alejandra. Richardson viewed Alejandra as manipulative, entitled. He thought she was always around the team, always in people's business, and he resented the way she influenced Steve Nash, thought she was making him soft, pulling him away from the game. But here's the thing, Jason Richardson didn't just complain about it. Nah, he did something about it. Alejandra allegedly cheated on Steve Nash, and guess who she cheated with? Jason Richardson. Yeah, his own teammate. Now here's where it gets even crazier. In November 2010, Alejandra gave birth to a son named Mateo, and Steve Nash filed for divorce the very next day. The day after his son was born, y'all, reports started flying around that Nash had questions about the baby's paternity. People noticed the baby looked different. And when you put two and two together, Jason Richardson, Alejandra, the timing, it all made sense. Jason Richardson got traded to the Orlando Magic in December 2010, just a month after the baby was born. Coincidence? I don't think so. A lot of people close to the situation said Richardson's actions weren't about love or attraction. This was revenge. He wanted to expose Alejandra, wanted to humiliate her, wanted to show Steve Nash and the whole world who she really was. Steve Nash eventually acknowledged Mateo as his son, raised him, but the scandal? It left permanent scars. His marriage was over. His trust was broken. And his friendship with Jason Richardson? Dead. All because of hatred that ran deeper than basketball. Alright, y'all. If you thought the last stories were messy, buckle up. Because this next one, this is a whole movie. Derek Fisher and Matt Barnes, Lakers teammates from 2010 to 2012. And not just teammates, they were close, real friends, trusted each other, had each other's backs on and off the court. Matt Barnes was married to Gloria Govan. They'd been together for years, had kids together, but by 2014 they separated. They weren't officially divorced yet, but they were living separate lives. Now here's where it gets interesting. Derek Fisher secretly despised Gloria Govan. He thought she was manipulative, thought she isolated Matt Barnes from his friends and teammates, believed she was spreading lies and damaging the team's chemistry. But Fisher didn't say anything. He kept it to himself, played the loyal friend, all while planning something in the background. Derek Fisher divorced his own wife. And right after that, he started dating Gloria Govan, yeah, his teammate's ex-wife. The woman Matt Barnes was still trying to co-parent with, the mother of his children, and Fisher didn't just date her quietly. Nah. On October 3rd, 2015, Matt Barnes found out that Derek Fisher was at his house, with Gloria, and with his kids. Man, Matt Barnes lost it. He drove over there, confronted Fisher, and a physical fight broke out. Fists flying. All-out brawl. Now here's the wildest part. Derek Fisher didn't just date Gloria to get back at her or expose her. Nah, he went all in. In 2018, Fisher proposed to Gloria, and in 2021, they got married, but it gets even pettier. In 2023, Derek Fisher became the head coach at the high school where Matt Barnes' sons play basketball. Think about that for a second. Fisher married Barnes' ex-wife, and now he's coaching Barnes' kids. That's not just revenge. That's a victory lap. Alright, so this next one? It's one of the most infamous trash-talking moments in NBA history, and it involves Kevin Garnett, one of the greatest trash-talkers to ever play the game. January 7th, 2013, Celtics vs. Knicks at Madison Square Garden. Kevin Garnett and Carmelo Anthony got into a heated exchange on the court. Nothing new, right? KG talks trash to everybody, but this time, he crossed the line. See, Kevin Garnett couldn't stand Lala Anthony, Carmelo's wife. And it wasn't just about basketball. KG hated what Lala represented. Her Hollywood persona, her reality TV fame, the fact that she was always in the spotlight. Garnett believed Lala was distracting Carmelo, making him soft, pulling his focus away from the game. And KG? He wanted to send a message. Carmelo Anthony? Man, he lost it. After the game, he went looking for Kevin Garnett, waited outside the Celtics team bus. Security had to step in. The NBA suspended Carmelo for 1 game, but the damage was done. The relationship between KG and Melo? Over. Done. Finished. And years later, Carmelo admitted in an interview that he never fully resolved the issue with Garnett. Said he still thinks about it. Still feels disrespected. All because Kevin Garnett hated Lala Anthony and wanted to tear her down. Alright, last story. And this one? It's about the 2011 Lakers. The downfall of a dynasty, 2011 playoffs. The Lakers were supposed to make another deep run, but things fell apart. And one of the biggest reasons? Pau Gasol's performance. He was struggling, playing terrible, and people started asking questions. Turns out, there was drama off the court, and at the center of it, Pau Gasol's girlfriend, Sylvia Lopez Castro. Shannon Brown, Lakers guard, role player, couldn't stand Sylvia. He thought she was arrogant. Thought she acted like she was better than everyone because she was European, and he felt like she disrespected the American wives and the families of role players. So Shannon Brown decided to do something about it. Shannon allegedly started spreading information about Sylvia. Rumors, gossip, anything to damage her reputation and turn the team against her. And it worked. The locker room got tense. The Lakers got swept by the Dallas Mavericks in the second round of the 2011 playoffs. Swept, y'all. A team that was supposed to win another championship got embarrassed. Shannon Brown left the Lakers after that season. And word is, he was satisfied. He felt like he'd exposed Sylvia, proved his point, made sure everyone knew what kind of person she was. But at what cost? The Lakers dynasty was over. The team fell apart. And a lot of people believe that off-court drama, that hatred Shannon Brown had for Sylvia Lopez Castro, played a major role in the collapse. So there you have it, y'all. 6 stories of NBA players who hated their teammates' wives. And I'm not talking about little disagreements or petty drama. I'm talking about deep, personal, life-destroying hatred. These stories show us something important. The NBA, it's not just about basketball. It's about relationships, trust, loyalty. And when those things break down, when hatred gets involved, everything falls apart. Friendships get destroyed, marriages end, championship teams collapse, and sometimes the damage is permanent, because at the end of the day, off-court drama, it can be more explosive than anything that happens on the court. So what do y'all think? Were these players justified in their hatred, or did they take things too far? Let me know in the comments below, and if you made it this far, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and click one of those boxes on your screen for more stories just like this one. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'll catch you in the next one.